All journeys begin with a single step, and every journey keeps going by simply continuing to take a single step. It's just one foot in front of the other. In investing, our single step is our ability to contribute to our investments and to be able to continue to do so. Similar to if someone is unable to move, if we're unable to contribute to our investments, the journey is doomed from the start. Our ability to initially contribute and continue to contribute to our investments really depends on two simple requirements: our ability to spend less than we make, and our ability to maintain a positive net worth. Our income, and more importantly, how we manage it, is the driving force behind reaching our financial goals. The key being how we manage it. It's not hard to find articles online of celebrities or athletes who over their careers made millions only to end up bankrupt or in financial difficulty, or articles about ordinary people who turned out to be surprisingly wealthy. Take Ronald Read, for example. Read was a gas station attendant and janitor, whose favorite hobby was said to be chopping wood. He lived a quiet but good life in his home state of Vermont. Even though he never made a lot of money throughout his life, in fact, he mostly had what would be considered low-paying jobs, he had enough to invest regularly and put himself in a position to leave his investments alone. At the time of his death in 2014, at the age of 92, Read had amassed an estate of nearly $8 million US, a complete and total shock to anyone and everyone that knew him. He left nearly $5 million to the local hospital that always took care of him, and over $1 million to the local library that he loved to visit, which were both the largest donations either had received at the time. The remaining $2 million were left to his stepchildren, caregivers, and friends. We've seen that investing can turn ordinary inputs into extraordinary outcomes, and Ronald Read might be one of the best real-world examples of that. From the outside, he sounded like the last person you'd ever guess was a multimillionaire. But because he lived within his means, and he made good financial decisions, he was able to shock the world in the best way. If our investments are a vehicle that can take us from where we are today to where we want to be in the future, our contributions are the fuel that it requires to make it all possible. Even with phenomenal returns, we can still expect our contributions to make up the majority of our portfolios for decades to come. So the more fuel we give our investments, especially in the early years, the harder they'll be able to work for us. But it all relies on our ability to spend less than we make. So we're in a position to be able to contribute to our investments. In the Google Sheets download, you'll see a tab labeled Expenses. To get a better idea of your cash flow, you could fill out the yellow boxes, and it should turn your monthly expenses into an annual expense. If you pay something annually instead of monthly, you can simply fill in the appropriate gray box. This exercise really serves two purposes. One, to get an idea of what you're spending, and two, to make sure that where your money is going reflects what matters most to you. By properly budgeting, you might find that you're spending more than you should in places you shouldn't, so you might find expenses that you can reduce or eliminate, allowing you to allocate those funds towards more meaningful areas of your life. Next, you'll see an income tab. This does contain a lot of Canadian-specific accounts and sources, but if you're not in Canada, you can simply change them. We want to try to be as precise as we can because even seemingly small amounts of money, like from government benefits, can quickly add up to hundreds or thousands of dollars a year. If we're not accounting for it, we have a higher chance of aimlessly spending it. Once those two tabs are completed, the next tab, Cash Flow Summary, will be automatically populated and give you a monthly and annual surplus or shortfall. If your number is within brackets, it means it's a negative number and that you're spending more than you're making. If you are in a position of looking to improve your cash flow, what I'd recommend is making a copy of these three tabs or the entire workbook, deleting the non-relevant tabs, and renaming the tabs or the workbook to the corresponding month. If you're not currently happy with where you are, that's okay. Remember, it's all about looking forward and making positive change instead of beating ourselves up over what we could have done better in the past. Our next consideration is your net worth, which compares your assets and liabilities. We want to have a positive net worth because when we don't, it typically means that we have bad debt, and bad debt usually has high interest rates. When determining if we should invest or pay off debt, We usually want to compare interest rates and first tackle debt that has a higher interest rate than we could reasonably expect to earn from investing. That's why it's much more important to pay off credit cards or high interest personal debt than it is to pay off your mortgage. If you have student loans, they might have a lower interest rate, but how quickly you try to pay it off will depend on the rest of your financial situation. Having debt can impact your ability to borrow towards a mortgage, so it's worth looking at everything from a holistic, big picture point of view. On the Google Sheet document, you'll see a net worth tab. Here is where you can list all of your assets and liabilities. Just like the expenses and income tabs, you can fill out the yellow boxes, and the total should auto-populate. And on the net worth summary tab, the total should carry over to give you a good idea of where you stand. This would also be a good tab to make a copy of to track your net worth over time. It's something that can take a little while to change, so I find it's nice to be able to zoom out to see the total progress you make. Looking month to month might not seem like there's a lot going on, but by looking year to year, the change can be more obvious. Having positive cash flow, earning more than we spend, and having positive net worth, having more assets and liabilities, requires us to live within our means and not have high interest debt that's costing us more than we can reasonably expect to earn. It puts us in the perfect position to build wealth, knowing that we're not ignoring anything that'll cost us in the end. Remember, investing is all about doing the right things for a very long time. And these are the first two building blocks.